Well, welcome back to our show. I am your co-host, Stephen Norris with Keller Williams Realty. As always, my co-host, Michael Dow with Megastar Financial over there. And today, what we're going to be talking about with everybody is the simple fact that the myth of there is no such thing as a real estate process. All right?
Well, Steven, I mean, we all know that we all have processes in place to help our buyers or sellers. At least it works that way, definitely on the lending side. And I know it's that way as well on the real estate side. Can you tell us or share with us a little bit about what your process looks like and how you help buyers or sellers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's a really good point to bring up is that, every single realtor that you're talking to, every single lender that you talk with is going to have a certain process about how they like to do certain things. So for myself specifically, here's the kind of the 5 points that I always bring up to my clients, whether or not I'm helping them buy or invest in a property or sell their home right now. So the first thing that I will always ask them is very simply, where do you want to go and why is that? Because if you're a buyer, you have to kind of start with the end in mind. And then I like to just say that and then work your way backwards because particularly when it comes to buying a property, you may be in new territory that you're not familiar with. If you're buying within your home state, maybe it's in a certain geographical area that you're not familiar with. So you kind of have to, get your bearings about you and drive around to the area or do your research. And if you're buying from out of state, now the process becomes even more of a process too, because you're thinking to yourself, I've never visited here. I don't have any friends or family out here. I have to kind of take my time. Or if you do have friends or family, maybe they can help you with certain suggestions. So what I will do actually is I will link my 2 favorite websites in the bottom here that I personally sent to all of my clients. And they're also linked on both our websites too. And those websites are walksport.com and Neighborhood Scout. And so we'll kind of get into those in a later video right now. But to Michael's point, the second thing that I bring up with my clients out of the 5 that I mentioned is that I always ask, how long are you planning on being here? If you're buying or investing in a property, kind of think about what this piece of real estate means to you and your family right now or your to-be family. If you're buying this as I call it a stepping stone house, as in this may be a house that you're in there for 3 to 5 years, and then eventually you want to sell it and get into a bigger place because now your family's growing, or just very simply you're doing better in life. So you want to have that extra little boost of upgrade. And, if you're selling a house, very simple things too, is that you're selling your house right now, where are you going to go? And why is that? So just start to think about those things. And again, start with the end in mind and then work your way backward. Really ask yourself those questions to kind of figure out, why am I doing this in the first place? And then the third thing that I will always ask my clients is that understand that there are certain things within the house and the property that you're buying that you cannot change. And typically those things are going to be certain things like the structural foundation. Obviously, if there's a load-bearing wall right there, we can't cut into that or anything like that. And just very simply the location of it. If you're in a really great neighborhood and then your house is not really to your taste or comfort level, then okay, let's find a different house for you in a different area. Same thing on the back end, where if we find an amazing house in a bad neighborhood that you don't feel comfortable in, all right, we probably have to have a happy medium in there. Just very simply because anything inside of your house, you can redo, customize, personalize, whatever you want to call it. You can paint this and that, do carpet, cabinetry, finishes, those types of things. So as long as you have the main foundations of your house figured out, that's the most important things that you should really start thinking about right now. And I always kind of tell my clients to make what I call it a wish list or a make it or break it, because there are certain things that obviously you need to have within your home due to X, Y, or Z reasons. Maybe you are disabled, or maybe you have to stay within a certain geographical area for work, or maybe potentially you are a personal person in the medical industry. You have to stay within 15-minute drive from your work. It happens all the time. And so just kind of writing those lists down and just kind of taking a nice hard look at what that actually looks like for you is something that you really should just do first and foremost. And, the fourth thing that kind of goes on that I talk with all my clients about is that what is the real estate contract process look like? Because in Colorado, luckily, we've been fortunate enough that there's only one contract for the entire state, and we don't have to go through several different iterations of it, like other states such as New York or California or those other kind of much larger states, right? And so for Colorado, it is a shorter contract, but it's a lot of verbiage to someone who has never seen one before. So I will always take my clients through that process. They understand it very clearly, because sometimes there is some sort of verbiage that we will use, or just talking in general sense. And people ask me, what does that mean? What does this date or deadline particularly mean for us on which side of the process? Because whether or not you are selling your house or buying your house, you have different responsibilities. So having clarity on what those responsibilities are is what I will always bring with my clients. And the last thing that I will bring up with my clients is always that there are 5 points, 5 major points of negotiation for the real estate process. And the first big one is obviously going to be the price of the house. The second one is going to be the inspection. The third one is going to be the appraisal. And the fourth one is going to be what are the dates and deadlines within the contract, certain things about how quickly do we want to close, when do we want to have certain things listed out for us. And then the fifth thing is always going to be what are the additional things that I could be as a buyer or as a seller, I could do to make my offer or home, if I'm selling it, more enticing to people out there who want to purchase it. Because, I have done many contracts where just asking that question, what are some additional things that your clients, if I'm helping you buy a process, buy a house, what are some additional things that you as a seller, Mr. or Mrs. Listing Agent, would like to see from us? And that question alone has won us many a deal. And on the backside too, if I'm helping you sell your house, I will always ask that question to the buyer agency who's saying, listen, just kind of tell me a little bit about the situation, because the more that I can understand, the more I can kind of relay back to my clients, and the better of communication that we're going to have. So those are the big 5 things of the real estate process I personally go with my clients. We are going to dive deeper into each of those bullet points in the weeks to come. But Michael, that's a shortest version I can get to you.
Wow. I mean, hey, Stephen, here in Colorado, we all know that, inventory is such a big thing, right? Our inventory is so low. So you're telling everyone else that there's more to it than just sticking a sign in the front yard, right? And especially on what types of other buyers that you might get for your home or do anything else, that it's super, super important to make sure that you have a real estate process and that you're working with an experienced agent or realtor to make sure that you get top dollar for your house, for your home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. I think that's awesome that you walk them through that, and there's some serious hand holding. So congratulations to you. I love that.
Well, thank you. And, that's another kind of final point that I'll bring up too. Regardless of what kind of experience you have with buying or selling real estate, I will still go through the same 5 bullet points that I kind of mentioned right there. And the reason why is because our contracts in the real estate process and our environment within real estate in Colorado is ever changing. And so you really need to be up to date with what's kind of going on right now. Even if you just bought a house or sold a house last year, there are probably some updates to the contracts and the overall market that, you have to be aware of. And so, with that being said, obviously I will treat every single client with the respect that they deserve based on what their experience level is. But quite frankly, I am not shy at all whatsoever. If you come to me saying, Stephen, look, I have no idea what's going on, help me, and I need this level of hand-holding through the process. If you want me to be really hands-on or a little bit less, all you have to do is just let me know that, because communication is everything when it comes to the process. Because quite frankly, we move pretty rapidly here in real estate industry. It takes a couple of weeks here and there to buy or sell a house, and it just goes by in a second. And so having that level of communication with a good agent and even a better lender down there on the lending side is extremely critical.
Right. And I agree with you. Process is super important, and educating our clients is what we're here for. And I love that you have something in place. So that's something that is time tested and done over and over. And that's what makes you as good as you are, Stephen. So I love that you walk your clients and treat them the way they want to be treated in this time. And of course, as we all know, on the real estate side, and lending side, guidelines and everything are ever changing, especially in this crazy COVID environment. So if you've got any questions about the real estate process, reach out to Stephen. He's an expert at what he does. Like, share, or comment below for us. And we look forward to hearing about some more of your questions. Stephen, what else you got for us today? Anything else?
I mean, no, but it's the Monday Night Football, first day of the NFL right there. So I have my wrong side. I have my Broncos case here now. My Broncos polo on right now, so hopefully we get a game right there. But besides that, having just a great barbecue probably, and about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, go Broncos. We'll see you all
All right,
next week. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to getting some new questions.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.